Superintendent salaries are out of control. It's February 20th, 2025, and these are your headlines. Two lawmakers in Texas have proposed legislation to limit the salaries of school superintendents. Now, last school year, the state's highest superintendent salary topped $500,000. 8 superintendents received salaries above $400,000, and another 81 received $300,000 or more. Now, these lucrative salaries are supplemented by benefits and bonuses, all, of course, at taxpayers' expense. House Bill 2562 by Representative Carrie Isaac would limit the salaries of school superintendents to twice the amount of the highest annual salary paid to a classroom teacher in that same district. The measure would apply to all independent school districts and open enrollment charter schools. Meanwhile, House Bill 974 by Representative Ben Baumgartner would limit superintendents' annual salaries to no more than the governor's salary. Currently, that's $153,000. Bonuses would be included in calculating the salaries that ISDs and charter schools pay their top administrators. The most recent data reported by the Texas Education Agency shows that as of October of 2023, more than 500 school superintendents received base salaries higher than the governor's. The TEA is expected to release new data in April. Both proposed salary caps would only apply to contracts entered into on or after September 1st of this year. Another proposal, meanwhile, House Bill 610 by Representative Terry Leo Wilson, seeks to limit superintendent severance payments to no more than 6 months' salary and benefits under their terminated contract. Members of the Texas Senate passed a constitutional amendment that would allow judges to deny bail to certain individuals accused of violent or sexual offenses or continuous trafficking of persons. Senate Joint Resolution 5 by State Senator Joan Huffman was passed today in a 28-2 vote, coming just one day after members forwarded 3 other bail reform items, including the denial of bail to illegal aliens accused of felonies. Huffman said SJR 5 would expand the potential denial of bail to include persons accused of committing a sexual offense punishable as a felony of the first degree. So that's a sexual assault where a weapon was involved or serious bodily injury occurred. Of committing a violent offense is defined by the Constitution, or of committing continuous trafficking of persons. However, under the proposed constitutional amendment, a judge or magistrate must first determine by clear and convincing evidence that the denial of bail is necessary to ensure either the person's appearance in court or the safety of the community, law enforcement, or the victim of the alleged defense. Similar legislation, by the way, passed the Senate in 2021 and 2023, but was ultimately killed by House members.
America is at a crossroads. Now, more than ever, Texas must step up and lead the country. We don't have time to mess around. The only way to save America is with a strong Texas. You and I know this, but so do the enemies of life and liberty. Therefore, you and I have no choice but to stand up and fight. I'm Sarah Gonzalez, and to the enemies of liberty, I say, come and take it.
Meanwhile, in the Texas House, school choice legislation has finally been filed, setting up another battle over Governor Greg Abbott's top priority, as new polling shows a majority of Texans support the issue. Now, in 2023, school choice was blocked in the House after a coalition of Democrats and a minority of Republicans opposed it. Since then, many of those Republican opponents have been replaced after the governor actively campaigned against them in last year's primaries. Earlier this month, Governor Abbott reaffirmed school choice as a top priority in his State of the State address. Just days later, the Senate passed Senate Bill 2, its version of the plan. And now, well, the House has introduced its own proposal. House Bill 3, authored by Representative Brad Buckley, who has also been reappointed as chairman of the House Public Education Committee. And while SB 2 and HB 3 share the same goal, creating an education savings account program that allows parents to use state funds for private school tuition, tutoring, and other educational expenses, they differ in a few areas. Under SB 2, students attending private schools would receive a flat $10,000 per year, while homeschooled students would receive $2,000. Notably, the bill doesn't impose a cap on overall program costs, allowing funding to grow based on participation. Meanwhile, HB3 works slightly differently. It calculates the funding of the ESAs at 85% of the state's per-student public school funding. It's about $8,000 to $10,000 per student. Special needs students could receive up to $30,000, which is higher than what's offered in the Senate plan. However, HB3 caps the program's total funding, limiting it to either the amount appropriated in the previous biennium or the cost of serving all the eligible students on the wait list, whichever is greater. Both chambers have included $1 billion for the program in their preliminary budget, meaning the program's first year would likely accommodate around 100,000 students. Another key difference is that HB3 allows ESA funds to be used for online education, something the Senate version prohibits. A new WPA intelligence poll conducted for Club for Growth suggests broad public support for school choice in Texas. The survey, which was conducted last week, found that 56% of Texas voters support establishing an education savings account program, with just 36% opposed and 8% undecided. House Speaker Dustin Burrows has been vocal in his support for school choice, appearing alongside Governor Abbott at a parent empowerment rally in San Antonio just last week. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has signaled his interest on the issue, saying he'll be watching Dustin Burrows in the House to ensure that they pass school choice. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.